Well, Mr. Olsen, this is Fawn Neaman. She is the Barbara Walters of our Laval journalism class.
All right.
So I just basically just introduce you, and then I mute my microphone, and then Fawn takes over from there. We record it. We get the information over to our production guy, which is Cameron Keith, and he'll edit it. We'll upload it to our YouTube channel.
Awesome.
Yeah, so anyway, so thank you for taking the time to meet with Fawn. And Fawn, you got your question? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mute, and it'll just be you guys, but I'm here if you need me, Fawn. All right.
So, Mr. Olsen, I understand that you're a new teacher this year. What would you like to tell us about yourself?
So yes, I'm a new teacher. This is my first year teaching. I graduated from Dixie State University. I decided I wanted to be a teacher when I was 15. So I've worked a long time for this, and I've worked in a lot of different jobs in schools where students actually live there, residential schools, and yeah, really excited to be here. What else would you like to know?
How did you end up in West Wendover?
That's a good question. So I was actually born in Layton, Utah, so just straight across the Salt Flats, and a little bit north. And I'd actually been out here a couple times. We liked looking for hot springs, and I love kayaking and fishing. And so my dad and I explored Blue Lakes quite often. And we've been out here and some of the other hot springs that are out hidden in these mountains. And so I knew where it was. And so last year when I was close to graduating and looking for a job, we decided we wanted to move out of Utah. I know we moved about as close to the border of Utah as you can without actually getting out of Utah. But we applied to everywhere we just wanted to go on an adventure and try something new. And my wife and I, we decided we wanted to try a small town. I actually flew to Alaska to interview, Montana, Minnesota, and Wendover. The list was alphabetical, but for some reason Wendover was always at the very top. And so finally we decided that we needed to apply, and met with Mr. Kylona, interviewed over the phone, came up and saw the place, and decided to take the job.
So you talk about you and your wife. Is it just you two, or do you have kids, or like do you have family out here?
So it's just us two. We've been married almost 2 years. So no kids yet. And for right now, it's just us. We have a lot of family in Salt Lake. Lots and lots of family. So at least one weekend a month, we actually go over to Salt Lake and go do something fun with them. Obviously taking the necessary social precautions right now, but we'll go over there and we'll do something fun.
So what are the responsibilities of being a teacher?
There's a lot. There's a lot of responsibilities that a teacher has. First and foremost is education. It's making sure that and taking care of the students. I have my material, and I could teach all of my material and feel accomplished, but that's not the biggest responsibility as a teacher. It's teaching the students. It's taking care of you guys, making sure that you understand you're getting what you need, because what we're doing is we're preparing you for later on in life, for continuing your education, for finding a career. So the biggest responsibility I feel as a teacher is to help prepare you students for what may come.
So how did you become fluent in Spanish?
I've always loved reading, loved languages, but I lived in Spain for 2 years. I'd studied German for 5 years, and I was beginning to be quite academically fluent in German. And then all of a sudden I moved to Spain. And my first apartment in Spain, one of my roommates was from Peru, one was from Ecuador, and one was from southern Spain. So I actually, for about 7 months, didn't speak English. And so after about the first 2 months, I understood just about everything they could say. And after about 6 months, I could say whatever I wanted to, and I lived there for 2 years. So, and then I decided when I moved back to the United States, back to Utah, I went to Weber State University. I was accepted into their nursing program. And I decided I wanted to do nursing. Even though my dream was to be a teacher and a football and wrestling coach, I decided to go do nursing program, and I absolutely hated it. But my Spanish classes were the only thing I was getting good grades in. And so I decided that I was going to keep studying Spanish, and so my degree is in Spanish education with an emphasis in literature. So old books.
So what made you want to become a teacher and teach students?
One of my teachers in high school, her name is Mrs. Lafayette. She was my AP English teacher my senior year, and she was mean. She was the roughest, hardest teacher ever until all of the kids that didn't like her dropped her class. And then all of a sudden she became the best teacher. She cared, and she just kind of made me want to do that. She helped me so much. It wasn't just reading the books and answering the questions and writing the essays. It was the time she took to make sure that we understood the lessons behind everything, the life lessons. She took time to get to know us. And then my wrestling coach in high school. He was an awesome example, and he actually invited me back to coach after I graduated. And so I coached wrestling for a long time with him. And that kind of gave me the idea that I want to do for the students what Mrs. Lafayette did for me, and what Coach Richens did for me.
So what would you say has been the hardest part teaching in a pandemic?
That one that's making sure that you guys are getting the quality education that you deserve. Because when we're here, I feel that the quality of education, I can make sure that you understand. I can make sure that things are going smoothly. But half the time, the students don't turn on their cameras, so I don't even know if they're in the room. And there's been a few times where I call on somebody, and this might say how old I am, but I feel like I'm the teacher in Ferris Bueller's Day Off saying Bueller, 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 and there's no one there to respond. So that would be the hardest part for me, is making sure that you guys are getting the education that you deserve. Kind of difficult.
So what's the plus side on teaching in a pandemic?
The plus side, I feel like my knowledge of technology, like I'm younger. I already knew technology very, very well, but I feel that it kind of forced me to make that even better. So now I know how to teach completely paperless. I don't have to have worksheets. I don't have to have even a book. I can make sure that everything's done online. I also really like the playlist that we've been doing, because then if you have any question about what you missed, you can go look at the playlist. So there's organizational things like that, making sure that everyone's staying on top of things, and it's opened up my eyes to a few more resources I didn't know were out there. So I feel that's a big plus side.
So what are your thoughts about bringing students back to the school in January?
That's a very interesting question, because first and foremost, I think that you students deserve the highest quality education available. And I believe that here at West Wendover High School, we have the staff, the faculty, the teachers, the administration to make that happen. But also we need to be safe. So it's going to be really interesting when we come back, and I want to make sure that everything's safe. I want to make sure that everything stays consistent, because the more consistent we stay, the more patterns that we see, the easier it is to understand. So if we can come back, we can set some base rules, and we can start seeing and getting that face-to-face education 2 days a week. And then when you guys aren't here, establish the pattern that it's not a day off. You just are working from home on some asynchronous activities. I believe if we can get that pattern and we can safely keep social distancing and keep masks on, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to, it's going to present some very interesting and very difficult challenges, but I'm looking forward to those, and I'm looking forward to working with you students face to face.
So what would you want students to know about you?
That I love teaching, I love my content area, and that I'm not out here to try to fail you. I'm not out here to try to make your life harder. I am here to help you love the Spanish language and also my Latinos in Action class. So, getting ready for college, getting ready for a trade school, getting ready for furthering your education. I truly love those subjects, and I'm here and I want you guys to understand why and understand how you can use Spanish in your daily life. Why learning a language is so important and the things it does for your cognitive development, the things it does for job opportunities in the future. And then also the leadership classes, preparing for college, getting the ACT scores, the SAT scores, the GPA. Like I want you guys to understand that I'm here for you.
So do you help out with any programs that the school provides or anything other than being a teacher?
Yeah. So right now I'm a football coach, the offensive and defensive line coach. One of the wrestling coaches as well. That one hasn't been officially confirmed, but here soon it will be. I love sports and athletics. Latinos in Action is a class that I teach, but there's also a lot that we do outside of school as far as service projects, outreach, community development. As soon as we deem it safe to go down to the elementary school, we'll actually be going down to the elementary school a couple times a week to tutor and teach the kids there, work with the teachers and the aides. So there's a lot there's a few things I'm involved in. Oh, and then the ninth grade class advisor. I'm the ninth grade class advisor. So yeah, anyone needs help with that, any of the freshmen, I'm your guy.
That's good to know. So you talk about this program or this class you have, Latinos in Action. What is that?
So Latinos in Action, it's newer. It was based out of Utah and they started it a few years ago and it kind of has taken off. It is a class that is focused on students with Latino heritage to help prepare them for college. There are so many grants and scholarships available to Latino students, especially when you are bilingual. So what this class does is it helps prepare for college, helps you take advantage of being bilingual. And if you're not completely bilingual, we practice Spanish, we practice English, we practice writing essays in both. Right now in that class, we're actually applying to colleges. As part of the class, we are learning how to apply for scholarships and different universities. And so we have Mrs. Fritchie coming to class, and she's going to be our guest speaker about scholarships available through West Wendover High School, and that are posted on our website.
So if you weren't a teacher, what do you see yourself doing?
That one, I've had a lot of very interesting jobs. I've worked in a bakery. I've worked in restaurants. I've done all kinds of construction. Um, but one thing that I loved, I worked with custom cabinetry. So I built, um, if somebody wanted a desk, an entertainment center, an office, we would design and remodel everything. And I loved that job. That was a lot of fun. But teaching is definitely my number one job. But if I had to fall back on something, it would be custom cabinetry and carpentry.
So what would you say is your favorite part about becoming a teacher or teaching students?
The students, by far, is my favorite part. Because there's a lot that goes into being a teacher. There's a lot of long days, planning and preparing and organizing. But at the end of the day, it's having fun in classroom. Like Mrs. Durham said, you accidentally say something you're not supposed to, and you're recording, but the whole class laughs and you have a good time, and that's what's fun. That's what makes teaching worth it, is the students and what we do right now online and the things we talk about and the things we discuss. And then eventually when we're back in the classroom, the things that we're going to do here.
So is there anything you'd like to say to the students or to the parents?
Just that if you ever need any help, I'm here. Um, if you need any questions that you have, I'd love to answer. And if I don't know the answer to the question, I know a few people who have a lot more experience than me, and I'm here to stay. So far, we've loved the community. Everyone's been incredibly welcoming, and we're planning on staying here for a very long time.
So what would you say is like what do you love about Wendover?
The community, the people. Um, it's a small town, and so everyone kind of knows everyone. Everyone's related to everyone in some way, shape, or form, and it's just kind of a big family. It just feels very welcoming here, and so far we've loved that. And the more we get to know people, the more we realize that's just kind of true. That everyone knows everybody, and everyone's nice to everyone. It doesn't matter if you have different backgrounds, different beliefs, different political associations. Everyone just gets along, and that's something that, especially where I come from, there was a lot of cliques, especially among students and teachers. I don't see that here, especially amongst the teachers, the faculty here, and the students. I feel that I can go to anybody with any question or just to talk. And so we've loved that so far.
Well, those are the end of the questions for me. Ms. Storm, you have anything to say? Or you'd like to add?
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Absolutely loved listening to the answers to the questions. And Fawn, once again, great job with your interview. Mr. Olsen, thanks for taking the time to meet with us and to talk with us. This was a very insightful interview. It's kind of fun to do these because we see each other in terms of our content or in terms of a faculty meeting. And so sometimes we don't get to see the face behind the teacher, that person. And so this was really a great way to get to know you a little bit better and who you are, where you're from, what your passions are. And we are really glad to have you here. So that is terrific.
Well, thank you. We're happy to be here.
All right, well, that wraps it up for this Meet the Teacher segment. So thank you, Fawn Neaman. Thank you, Mr. Olsen. And we'll be back next week with another one.
See ya.
All right, we'll see you. Thank you.